Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and greetings from Raleigh. I overheard a conversation recently where one Devi was sharing with another Devi that her hair is very long, like Ma Kali. So she was looking at her physical appearance and describing herself as Ma Kali. When you look at someone, when you look at yourself, what is the best way to beautify yourself? What's the best way to be beautiful? Smiling, being peaceful. Today, Sheila and I had gone to Target to buy some stuff because our bag was not with us when we traveled. And there's so much makeup that you can buy at Target. Endless lipsticks and tweezers, and I was overwhelmed by, by all of this. And I kept on thinking that the way to be beautiful is to realize one's nature, that one is Devi. Instead of describing oneself as beautiful by looking at one's hair, one's skin, you can never keep up with that. That's why these stores thrive, is because people do try to keep up with their hair, their skin. But the way to be beautiful, once and for all, again, is to know that one is Devi. And our Bhagavan Shiva, he's described as Satyam, Shantam, Sundaram. It is his abidance in the truth. It is his abidance in peace that makes him most handsome, most attractive. We are engaged in a course, we're engaged in a movement that is Devi culture, where when we feel beautiful, we can help others to do the same. So how are we doing this? We all chant, Hoy Siddhi Saki Gau Risa. What does that mean? The one who chants Hanuman Chalisa, that person will be Siddhi. Siddhi means that person will be powerful, that person will be peaceful. And this is being observed, Sakshi, by Gaurisa, that is the Isha of Gauri. Who is the Isha of Gauri? Bhagavan Shiva. Bhagavan Shiva is the husband, is the partner of Gauri, Mata Gauri. And another name for this is He is Bholenath, the one who only knows the truth, the one who's most honest. And it is he who is sharing with Mother Parvati that the one he prostrates to is the Guru. He's elaborating on the greatness of the Guru Shishya Parampara. And we are well into our study of Guru Stotram. We're nearly finished with our study of Guru Stotram. Last month we studied Shloka 7. And in Shloka 7, we came to appreciate that divinity is in the details. Many, many words are used to describe Chaitanya. Chaitanya means awareness. It is Shashvataha. It is fresh. It is Shantaha. It is unchanging, and on and on and on. These details help us with our clarity. Clarity leads to conviction, and conviction leads to confidence. This is why in Sanatana Dharma, Swadhyaya, studying, knowledge, is emphasized so much, because divinity is in the details. And then we studied in Shloka 8 how, with knowledge, you can have whatever you want, you can be whatever you want. Bhukti, mukti, it's up to you. The efforts required for bhukti, that is pleasure, possession, position, is the same effort that is required for mukti. However much effort we put in to the secular, if we put in the same amount of effort into the sacred, what result would be greater? Naturally, the sacred would lead to lasting results. And I'll put this in more simply. On the table over there, there are almond cookies. And on the table over there, there's red peppers and green peppers. Now, to put the cookie or the pepper in your mouth, same effort. To chew the cookie or the pepper, same effort. But which one is going to bring a greater return in a health-wise? I'm not talking about taste and sugar and so on. I'm talking about what's going to be better for you. Those peppers, right? Now the same goes with our studying, the same goes with our effort. We are experts when it comes to investing in the secular world. And here, jnana is Shakti. Many people have the name Shakti. Power is knowledge. Knowledge of your power. Shloka 7 and Shloka 8. We continue with our study. I will chant each quarter. You please repeat. After we study the verse, we'll chant together. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine atma jnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Eka, what does that mean? One. Aneka, not one. In other words, countless. Countless what? Janma. Janma means births. Samprapta means we have. We have countless births. And I know intellectually, we know this. We study this in Bhagavad Gita, we quote this from Vivekji. We describe rebirth. Countless births we've all experienced. To help the macro feel like the micro, how do I relate to this? We've made countless attempts at changing isn't it? We've tried again and again and again to be morning people. We've tried again and again and again to be more patient. We've tried again and again and again to engage in japa, to engage in dhyana. Yes? So when we think of countless births, don't intellectualize that. In our own lifetime, we try again and again and again to make New Year's resolutions, to make Deepavali resolutions. So that's all being shared here. Karma bandha vidahine. Vidahine means to burn up, to dissolve the bandha. That is the bondage, the limitation of karma. Karma here means results and actions and thoughts and desires, the impressions, the forgetfulness. So all of this conditioning that we've had for so long, all of this can come to an end. All of our efforts, trying again and again and again, we can finally come to rest. So all of this is shared in the first line. The way that this karma bandha comes to vidahine, how is it burned, is when we come to the realization that karma is not working. This is not working. I keep trying to manipulate circumstances. I keep trying to find combinations of articles and beings, permutations, but this is not working. And once I know this is not working, I close that door. I'm able to simplify what I'm supposed to do while I'm living. That's the burning down. So much of our efforts is into what we should do, when what's being shared in this shloka, a lot of shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, we have to focus on what we are not to do. And if we cease from doing that, we will naturally feel who we are, our nature. So burning, neti. Burning up, not this, not this, not this. And another word for vidahine or burning is, what is the word we hear often? Tapa. Tapa means to burn, tapati. What Guru Stotram is teaching us is that tapas we must engage in is to change, to find meaning in what we're doing. That's the tapas. If we don't find meaning in what we're doing, karma will lead to bandha. But when we find meaning in what we're doing, karma then leads to yoga. So what is the difference? Meaning. That tapa is going outside of one's comfort zone. That tapa is, I've lived like this for so long and I didn't find that meaning, so I should change. My profession, my appearance, my home, my friends, my thinking. Because if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got, no? And this always is aneka, forever. How? Atma jnana pradhanena. When Atma jnana, when knowledge of the self, when the knowledge of joy, when the knowledge of the center is bestowed upon us, is given to us, when this is accessed by us, in other words, we find meaning, all changes then. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavam agataha. Which means, there are many, many, many who have engaged in jnana tapasa, They've dedicated themselves to getting to know who they are, and they become puta. Puta means they become pure, they become peaceful. The opposite of puta is putana. Putana from Bhagavatam is the one who's not pure, the one who's not peaceful. And when that na is removed, even in Putana, where does she go? To Bhagavan Krishna. Mad bhavam agataha. They come back to God. In Ramayana, when Ravana is finally destroyed with 31 arrows, that spark of Ravana goes into Bhagavan Rama's mouth. Bhagavan Rama was able to remove the negativity, was able to remove the bandha of even Ravana. And to think that Bhagavan can't do this for us. Pradhanena means to bestow. This knowledge is bestowed on those who are trusting. Trusting of the Guru, trusting of God. In Sanskrit we use the word Vishwas. We're all believers. That's why we're in our Devi cultures course. Many of us are faithful also. But here what's being shared is that faith has to evolve to trust, from Shraddha to Vishwas. Do you trust your Sadguru in everything that she says, she behaves, he behaves? Because if that trust is not there, if there's doubt that is there, we'll still depend on karma. We will still think karma will work. And we will burn. We won't be burning the bondage, we will burn. And what does burning feel like? Burning feels like being overwhelmed. Burning feels like being busy. Burning feels like being cranky and just not getting along with yourself, getting along with people. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When we trust the Guru Shishya Parampara, the Guru Shishya Parampara will make us zero. Make us zero means will make us a bhakta. A bhakta is one who feels they are zero. The Guru Shishya Parampara will make us jnanis. A jnani is one who feels they are infinite. Only when we feel we are zero or infinite do we not change. Becoming is ended. Okay? So let's read this verse again, keeping in mind how that which is abstract, that which we chant, how it's supposed to mean for you. All of our attempts to change, these attempts can be fulfilled. They can be fulfilled when we find meaning in our lives. And this meaning will be through knowledge, knowledge of what our potential is, knowledge of what our purpose is. This is naturally flowing to those who are trusting of the Guru of God. We will feel love, that is bhakti. We will feel knowledge, that is infinity. Together. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine atma jnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Tasmai shri gurave namaha. Next shloka. Shoshanam bhavasindoscha
Shoshanam bhavasindoscha
Jnapanam sarasampadaha
Jnapanam Sarasampadaha
Guroh Padodakam Samyak
Guropadodakam Samyak
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Shoshanam is like Shushyati. Where have you heard the word Shushyati before? In chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, Prince Arjuna says that he is experiencing Parishushyati, which means that his mouth is not dry, it's Parishushyati, it's extremely dry. He is parched, that his body is beginning to collapse. So Shoshana means to dry up. Bhava Sindhuhu. Sindhuhu, ocean. A large entity. And this large entity is of what? Bhava. Bhava means to become. Drying up the ocean of becoming. Another word for this is samsara sagara. In Ramayana, Goswamiji describes samsara as drowning in the ocean of mundane existence. Drowning in the ocean of mundane existence. Was today meaningful existence for you or mundane existence? Meaningful or mundane? Your professional responsibilities, your home responsibilities, your health responsibilities. And I share this because we externalize samsara also. But any time where I'm not trying my best, it's because I don't see the purpose of what I'm doing. That's the ocean of mundane existence. That's samsara. We look to each other and say, she's a samsari. She's a samsari. This ocean can be dried up. How? Jnapanam sara sampadaha. Jnapanam means to be reminded. Reminded of what? Sara sampadaha. Reminded of the essence of wealth. What is most important? By being reminded of this. By being reminded of our potential. When I'm reminded of my potential, I come to appreciate that I'm not living up to my potential, so that becomes my purpose. Many of you are in the Upadesha Sara course. What happened yesterday? Tragedy happened yesterday. Yesterday in our Upadesha Sara course, we had studied 10 shlokas over 10 weeks. So 10 weeks is 70 days. That's a whole lot of hours, over 1,000 hours. And 10 questions were given. Questions on japa, questions on karma yoga. And half an hour was given to write fill in the blanks, short answers, and how unhappy people were while they're writing the test. And that was accentuated after the test. And many people were discussing afterwards that they realized that more serious study is needed. That was the point of the test. The point of the test is not to memorize everything, is not to know specific Sanskrit words, is just to show how much we think the Sara Sampadaha is what other people think of us. The Sara Sampadaha is our professional life. And so we're careful with our secular lives, but care less. We care less about our sacred life. And this test is to highlight that. So here too, we are being reminded that our potential is not what we believe it is right now. Our potential is not our long hair or our soft skin. Our potential is divinity. And then your only purpose of living is to feel that divinity. Sara sampadaha. And playing on this word, padaha. What does pada mean? Quarter. What does pada also mean? Feet. In other shastras, the ocean of mundane existence, when we develop a relationship with Bhagavan, what happens to that ocean of mundane existence? It becomes the size of a cow's footprint. You know the hoof of a cow, and you see water in that hoof, how small it is. When we get connected to the Guru Shishya Parampara, they make that ocean of mundane existence that small, that manageable. You know, when you clean your home, if you try to clean the whole house at once, it's overwhelming. But if you clean room by room, it becomes manageable. The only way mundane existence will become manageable, will be transcendable, is by having a relationship with someone who knows how to do that. And so another play on this word, pada. You've all seen images of Vittala Bhagwan. How does Vittala Bhagwan stand? He stands with his hands on his hip, almost like with his thumbs forward rather than backwards. You know, when we're mad, we put our thumbs backwards. But when we're focused, we put our thumbs forward, almost like in a stretch, in a pose. Vittala Bhagwan is standing with his thumb forward like that to show us that this river is only waist deep. You know, I see this river flowing. How am I supposed to cross over? But then I see Bhagwan saying, look, it's just this deep. So just come. That's why Vittala Bhagwan stands like that, to make this possible for us. And this is one of the best quarters in all of Guru Stotram, the next one. Guruhu pada udakam samyak. Samyak means well, achieved. Udakam, water. Where did this water come from? The pada. So the water that's used to wash the feet of the Guru. Samyak means achieved or well. The ocean of mundane existence is dried up by what? By what? The water of the Guru's feet. Now that seems impossible. How do you dry up an entity with that which is wet? If something's wet, you use a towel. But here what's being described is that same water can dry up us drowning in this ocean of mundane existence. How does the Guru do this? If someone is at the Guru Shishya Parampara's feet, if someone has that trust to wash the Guru Shishya Parampara's feet with water, with their tears of sorrow, with their tears of joy, it shows how the Guru is a catalyst to their mumukshutva. That Guru is the one who is encouraging them to think more, to be more. That's what this water symbolizes. That I'm ready to be at your feet because you know what I don't know. You are what I'm not. Mumukshutvam. And when our mumukshutvam, when our desire for freedom becomes so intense, then kripa flows more naturally. What does kripa mean? Grace. Maya is that which makes the impossible possible. My nature is joy, and here I am suffering from stress. Maya, correct? The impossible has been made possible. How do you alleviate the impossible being possible? With kripa. When I think that it's not possible to live without stress. It's not possible to live without being overwhelmed. Grace makes what I feel to be impossible, possible. The only cure to my eyes, kripa. So using the water that has washed the Guru's feet, using that water shows the intensity of wanting to be free. Do you all want to be free? Yes? No? Think deeply about this. Do you want to be free? Think about what would be required for you to be free. Think about what you would need to let go to be free. You would have to let go of every dependency on pleasure, every dependency on possession, on position, every. Yesterday in our test, people were asking for partial marks. And I said, there's no partial enlightenment. You're enlightened or not. You're infinity or not. I can't want pleasure and want peace. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We have to work as hard as the Guru Shishya Parampara works. As hard as they do. That is that mumukshutvam. That is one who knows the purpose of living. To be tireless. Let's chant the shloka again. Together. Shoshanam bhavasindoscha Nyapanam sarasampadaha Gurov padodakam samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And we'll complete our study of the 10th verse with a review. The discussion subject that you were given in last month's class was to come up with one word to describe each verse and to come up with one practice to describe each shloka. How many of you were able to do that? Or to do that as a study group? Okay. And we'll debrief on that. I'll share with you my review. These are my own insights, my own words, and this is right for me, and what you've come up with is right for you. So let's go back to verse 1. Verse 1, the key word, the one word essence is existence. Existence, because we talk about akhanda mandala akara. What is the form, the unbroken form of the multiverse? It is existence. And the practice for verse 1 is to touch all carefully. To care fully for all that you touch, this table, your socks, food, to try to feel the existence in every experience. Then this verse comes to life, isn't it? It's not just something we fire off. Touch all carefully. In verse 2, the one word essence is vision. Vision, because there's so much of discussion about me being blinded and then me opening my eyes. Yes? I'm trying to work hard here to make this more meaningful for us. Yes, that's what we're studying. And I know we all know how to chant this. And chant it well. But is this part of you? So vision. And the practice, the sadhana for verse 2 is consult before deciding. Consult before deciding. Why? Because someone who doesn't have vision, they're reactive. And someone with vision is responsive. Consult means ask yourself, what would a wise person do in this circumstance? Someone who can see what I can't see. Consult your wisdom. Empathize with the other person and then decide. That's how a visionary lives. WWW is, what would the wise do? In verse 3, the essence is guide. Guide. Because we keep saying the Guru is the one who begins our journey, facilitates our journey, ends our journey. That's what a guide does, right? Come on the bus, I'll show you around the city, now give me a tip. So guide. And the practice is remember your growth. Remember your growth. Too many times we become dejected because of our own, how hard we are on ourselves. That we succumb to temptation, or we lost our patience with the family member. But think of how much you've grown in 1 year. Think about how much you've grown in 5 years. When you remember that growth, you realize you're on a journey, right? How long it takes just to get to Bharat. 15 hours on a straight flight, 25 hours on a connected flight. It's a journey. Initially you're excited, you're watching movies, but then you're sitting beside someone who's leaning on you, so the journey becomes kind of rough. But then you get off the plane and you can stretch, it becomes wonderful again. So that's all shared in verse 3. In verse 4, the essence is awareness. Awareness. Stavaram jangamam vyaptam yat kinchit sacharacharam, which is a very similar message to the previous shloka we studied, shloka 1, which talks about the unbroken form of the multiverse. So if that's existence, you can't use existence again, it has to be awareness then. And existence, awareness are the same. We've studied that already. So awareness. And the practice here is speak to communicate. Speak to communicate. Someone who lacks awareness, they speak to be right. They speak to win. They speak to influence. They're not communicating. But we have to realize that everyone has that same awareness. We say namaste, we say Hari Om. When we speak to communicate, we come to feel that awareness rather than intellectualize it. Number 5, the summary word is action. Action. In verse 5, there's a similar sentiment to verse 4. A lot of these verses are the same if you study them literally. But you have to study the implied meaning. How does this relate to me? Chinmayam vyapyat sarvam trailokyam sacharacharam. I described at that time the 3 worlds, the waking, dream, and sleep, past, present, future. Those who work hard and smart, those are the people who are remembered in the past, present, and the future. Those people who work hard and smart, they sleep well, they wake up well, they dream with their eyes open rather than with their eyes closed. Action. And the practice here is choose the long term. Choose the long term. Everything that you think about, speak about, act about should always be in reference to the long term. Trailokyamam, really highlighting that portion of the shloka. Number 6. In 6, it's guidance. We already studied guide, so this is guidance, because now we talk about the scriptures. How the scriptures are like a lotus, and when we are guided, when we have this guidance, then that lotus opens up. The the sun shining on that flower. So guidance, and the practice here is read to reflect. Read to reflect. Only when you read the Shastras does it make sense. But if you don't read, it will not make sense to you. In other words, we won't be able to practice it. How many times I've shared with all of us, read in the morning before you engage in your dharma. Before you do whatever you do, read. In our meditation and life course, I tell people rest before the course, before the class. That way you're ready. Verse 6. Verse 7, the summary word is joy. Joy, because we've already covered existence, we've already covered awareness, so here it's about joy. When we feel that joy, that bindu, that nada, kala, all of that is growing within us. Someone who feels that joy, they concentrate more, they're cheerful, they're content. So joy, and the practice here is listen to help. Listen to help. Often great help we can offer to someone is listening to them. And when we help others, that is the way to be happy for an entire lifetime. It's the way where we start to not focus on the results and focus on the action. I'm giving. It doesn't matter to me what I get. Verse 8, the summary word is guided. So we had guide, guidance, and now we have guided in verse 8. This verse is describing ourselves. That if we're guided, we will let go of bhukti and we will hold on to mukti. Someone who's not guided, I want bhukti. Someone who's guided wants mukti. And the practice here is offer your earnings. Offer your earnings. Commit to be someone who is proactive in giving before getting. Then you never depend on what you get. In the language of Bhagavad Gita, it's called yajna. Right? Be dedicated. Then what do? Dana. But if you're not dedicated, there's no dana that happens. We get lost. And we had studied until then, but I'm just going to give you the summary for 9 also, which we just took up. For 9, the one-word summary is knowledge. Knowledge that Atma Jnana is the only way to end bandha. And the practice here is smile with gratitude. Smile with gratitude. Those who are lacking gratitude, those people keep on finding ways to engage in manipulation of articles, beings, circumstances, and they get stuck. But those who feel grateful for all of the gifts in their lives, they smile more. They act out of fulfillment, not for fulfillment. Smile with gratitude. And so are you ready for another reorganization of these verses? Verse 1, 4, and 7. Existence, awareness, joy. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Verses 2, 5, and 9 is knowledge, vision, action. Knowledge helps one to have vision, and vision helps one in action. And then verses 3, 6, and 8 is the guide, offers guidance to the guided. So 3 more layers of existence, awareness, joy, which is presented by the guide through guidance to the guided. Then I start to feel knowledge, vision, and action.